Evening all, Alec here, Midi scientist and the guy who set up the WAZA Air Owners Club back in the day. And I've been sent this Airstep from the good guys over there at Xonic. Oh Bob, this thing's wicked, man. I'm going to tie this together with two other clips, one showing you this thing in action and one showing you kind of how to do it, and I will post actual screenshots of the editor as to how to do this. Super simple. First quick tip: how can you control from any other MIDI controller via the Airstep, this sits in the middle as a bridge, your Katana or your WAZA? And why would you do that? You can lock every preset you've got into one of the 6 channels in your WAZA. Acoustic stuff gets an acoustic channel, rock stuff gets a rock channel. Set it up how you'd want, but if you're using pedals to test them out in peace and quiet, or using a full pedal board, this here little MIDI trick will lock your airs in sync with your stuff. Hope you dig it. Follow through or just go straight and check in the comments. You'll see how to do this. You can edit any of your presets, save them first as a copy, and then start editing this into the MIDI in panel. And these messages will allow you to send PCs into the Airstep, and the Airstep translate that into sysex. Wild stuff. Nothing else can do that. Not easily. This took me like 5 minutes. It's cool. Okay, let's have a look down here on the floor. I'm going to show you a quick trick. What I've got here is an Airstep, and I've MIDI connected it with a 5-pin cable to an HXStomp. There's been a recent video out. I think one of the best ones I've seen has been Paul over at the Studio Rats. He published this thing yesterday. I got to thinking, this Airstep, this is the big boy Airstep, which you can tell because it's got all these connections on the back. 1 MIDI in, 2 MIDI outs, foot switch out, switch is in, expressions in, a whole bunch of stuff. This is the one I would recommend people get, seriously. The Lite may also do this, but there's nothing better than a good old cable. I'm going to try this wirelessly in subsequent videos, but let me show you something, because this is wicked. Switch here to 1, acoustic playback. And this is dropped over to 1 here. This is preset 4, which is standard, and I'm using it in this case to work with the Katana over there, Katana Air. I also do the WAZAs and the admin of the WAZA Air Owners Club, sister to, I guess, the Boss Katana Air Owners Club. So I figured this would be good for both you guys, both sets of you guys anyway. Let me show you what this does. So I hit 2, snapshot 2, it jumps to 2. Hit snapshot 3, it jumps to 3. If we go over here to the Katana and I start messing with the channels, over here you can see them changing. So controls directly off the hardware itself, that works fine. But you want to really be sitting on the couch, chilling out, messing with your stuff. And I always mess with the Katana in this case with some extra pedal. In this case I'm using the HXStomp because that's a MIDI controller. Boom. So as you can see, that's controlling channel switching. Let me set this down a bit. I'll swing the camera around and do some playing. You can see it. So I only got this thing like 4 days ago. I could switch from here. Go on. Or switch from here. That's on 3, 2. Now what I would normally do is have this helix way up by me on a desk. Yeah. Like so on the couch. I don't know. mounted there like that next to me so I can just mess around with it, or on a music stand in front of me like that. It's a big speaker, but I'm really taken to this whole Boss thing. So let's give you a hear of what's going on with this. I'll switch to the higher gain stuff. Da-da-da. The big idea here isn't to stuff everything into one preset, but to use your snapshots, or you could use any MIDI controller like an MC8, which has a display on it, to navigate around, which is great because then you can actually see what you're doing. You don't need a laptop in the middle doing anything whatsoever. It's just super cool. So how did that work? What we did was, in the MIDI out port, which you'll see, I'll go through and do a whole screen capture and post that in with comments in the Katana and WAZA Air groups, and you can see what's going on. All I'm doing is setting up triggers, and what a trigger does is, on the import here, it's looking and listening to everything going through. So if I send a PC1, I just selected random PC1 to 6 for presets 1 to 6, send that to channel 1, it then triggers the action to switch on the channel over there, which is all in sysex. But the way they've set it up, the Airstep boys, oh, this thing rocks, man. So the way they've set it up is really simple. They've taken out all of the hexadecimal gobbledygook, and you just have the channels listed on the Katana or the WAZA. So when you think about it, instead of using this 1 to 6, which is great, and this is preset 4, which shows you where you are. If you label this up, you know, rearrange your presets for sort of a snapshotty like thing, if you're coming from helix speed, scenes, if you will, you could stick with your labels on this thing, you know, intro, chorus, verse, bridge, whatever you want, and step through automatically. So you could do this within the concept of one song. You could also, like many people do who are using external pedals, like you know, a helix or a quad cortex or a boss core, whatever you're thinking of, any sort of modeling thing that is capable of sending MIDI could automatically control your listening experience in the WAZAs or the Katana. Take you right to what you need to go to without you having to sit there poking up and down through buttons or getting lost. This thing is a massive help. If you just use this, you could see what's one to, you know, that's great. That's really great. That's the one thing I think that stands apart between this and the EV1. You know, I would recommend both, seriously. For me, finding a decent expression pedal without cables all over the place, it's a lifestyle change. It's really cool. But I hope you dig this. Check in the post, which I will do in the groups, one for the Katana, one for the WAZA, exactly how you do it. I'll give you the screenshots. It's dead easy. It takes about 5 seconds to do. Hope this is cool and helpful. Really glad to be in the group. 4 days now into the Katana Air, and wow, just blown away by that thing. It's everything that the WAZA needed to be. Totally cool. See yous.